Welcome to Malt Monday, and we're back on the malts this week, proper malts for brewing and all that kind of stuff, which is where this thing comes in. We'll forget about this for now. We've all seen one of these before, big old can, doesn't have a label on it, but inside here is malt extract. And it can be, malt extract can be hopped, this one is, or it can be just a pure extract. And basically what you do is you get your grains, you steep them, your malted grains, and then you boil some of the water off. So it becomes a really thick, concentrated goo. And there are companies that do this. Monkton's is one, Cooper's do their own. There's various different ones. Edme do one as well, EDME. And you get it in a can. And the canning process means it can last for a long time. The other kind of malt extract you can get is in a powdered form. Now I was going to have one of those, but unfortunately I looked in the brew shed and I don't have one. So what we've got here, this is sugar, 100% dextrose this one is, but your dry malt extract will look very, very similar. It's a white powder and it can be in a bag like this one is. Cooper's do theirs in a box, and they have different versions of them. What Cooper's do is they mix their dry malt extract with some sugar, so it's sort of like a half sugar, half extract. And one of their ones also has maltodextrin, a small amount in, which is where this comes in. Maltodextrin isn't strictly a malt product. It is, but it's so chemicalized these days that most people make it from, well, the Americans make it from corn. I think the British and Europeans make theirs from wheat. But they extract it directly from the grains using some chemical process. So I'm not 100% sure if they're malted or not. I suspect they are, because when you malt a grain it produces more starch. But maltodextrin itself, similar kind of thing, it's a powder. This one is maltodextrin mixed with hop oil. Yeah, so you add this in. It gives it a hoppy kind of aroma and taste, but the maltodextrin, it's a weird product. It doesn't actually, although it's a sugar, it doesn't ferment. Yeah, so you're left with something after the sugar has all turned to alcohol. So when you're looking at Cooper's and they've got their product, it's in theirs is in a box, but yeah, similar kind of thing. You've got sugar, which ferments out. You've got malt extract, which nearly all ferments out, and then there's a little bit of the malty taste left. And then you've got the maltodextrin, which doesn't ferment out at all, but gives a kind of, people refer to mouthfeel. It gives it a sort of a taste. But it also is supposed to help with head retention. So that's why this one's a Golding's product. Golding's hop oil mixed with maltodextrin. So you add that to your wort, and basically it gives it some aroma, but it also helps a bit with the head retention, or it's supposed to. Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, probably a couple of months ago now, I talked about the Germans, and their Rheingottschalk or whatever it is. I can't remember what it is. You can look it up on Wikipedia. But the Germans are purists, yeah. And what they said is beer has to be water, malt, and hops, and yeast. So 4 things. Almost forgot the yeast. That would be terrible. We just have a malty drink like last week, and not many people like last week's update. I'm sorry about that, but anyway. Had to do something, eh? So yeah, you've got the 4 things. You've got the malt, water, hops and yeast. There's no malt extract in there, no maltodextrin in there, yeah, no added sugar in there, yeah. So if we were purists and we were the Germans, if we were pure all grain brewers for sake, we wouldn't be adding anything to our beer. Yeah. However, your basic home brewer is going to get a can very similar to this one, a hopped liquid malt extract. You're going to add a kilo of sugar, handy, add that, and I might add this at the end. Mix all this up together into a big bucket, add my yeast, and all these three things will make a nice brew. Yeah, it's not a perfect kind of all grain brew by any means. However, I will be making beer very cheaply. This can, because it's very old, I think the best before date was 2010. I originally got it because it was past its date. However, I've had a few problems with these, possibly because they are so old. I've had mixed success with these. I've had some really good brews, and I've had some terrible brews. Yeah, but hey, you pay your money, you take your choice. I think these cans were £5 each, if I remember. This sugar was, I think it was £2.50, so £7.50 there. And these Goldings hop powders, they were actually thrown in with this product. Best before July 2014, so this is still in date. So this whole thing, £7.50, yeah, and I get 40 pints of beer, yeah. So you do the maths. That's it's under 25p a pint, yeah. I think that's right. 10, yeah, something like that. That in my book is very, very good value. However, it might not give such a good product because this can is quite old. If you get a very up-to-date one, you get like the Woodford's products, yeah, they come with 2 cans. So what we do, we get rid of this, we get rid of this. We have one can like this one which is hopped, yeah, so it's got all the hops boiled into it, yeah. And your second can is pure liquid malt extract, so there's no hops in it at all. So the second one is purely to give adjunct to your brew. It's doing the same job as the sugar or the dry malt extract, but it's just in a can form. They tend to be a bit more expensive. I think if you go to Wilkinson's in the UK, or Wilco's they call it, you can get a 2-can kit for £15. Most of them are 20, yeah, 20 quid. So whereas my sort of cheap and nasty one was £7.50 all in, you'd be talking £20. Yeah, so that's all of a sudden for 40 pint, 50p pint. Yeah, that's still pretty cheap. Yeah, I was up in London with my my dear girlfriend, and we were paying £5 for 1 pint. Yeah. So that's, if I'm buying a big kit or a wherry kit, a 2-can kit, I'm paying 50p for 1 pint, yeah. Whereas in London it's £5. So what's that? That's 1000% increase in the price. So is it any wonder that the brewers, especially in the UK, which is where I am, I know they've got similar problems in Canada too, are brewing their own beer, yeah. So I'm going to end this Malt Monday with a message to the government. You guys are taxing the fuck out of us, yeah? Please stop it, yeah? Personally, I don't mind that much because I'm brewing my own beer, but essentially you're destroying the working man, yeah? We want to have some beer at the end of the day, not some wine like you rich pricks in Westminster, yeah? Stop taxing our beer.